Oh, yo, 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 yo. Oh, yo. Came up from the struggle, now we stacking chips. Black Wall Street, we rebuilding from the pits. Politics and business, we beyond rich. Donnie Glover Show, watch us shift the switch. Donnie Glover Show by BMOnews.com. Spotlight on the hustle when the real was calm. Every episode, dropping knowledge, dropping bombs. Donnie Glover Show by BMOnews.com. Talking black excellence, ain't no exclusivity. History in making, reclaiming our divinity. Break by break, rebuilding our community. Donnie Glover Show, celebrate unity. Donnie Glover Show by BMOnews.com. Spotlight on the hustle where the real was calm. Every episode, dropping knowledge, dropping bombs. Donnie Glover Show by BMOnews.com. From the boardroom to the streets, we making waves. Business minds running new paths paved. Politicians listen, they know we the brave. Black Wall Street dreams rising from the grave. Donnie Glover Show by BMOnews.com. Spotlight on the hustle where the real was calm. Every episode, dropping knowledge, dropping bombs. Donnie Glover Show by BMOnews.com. Oh, yo. Oh, yo. Oh, yo, yo, yo. Oh, yo. Oh, yo. Oh, yo, yo, yo. From the boardroom to the streets, we making waves. Business minds grinding, new paths paved. Politicians listen, they know we the brave. Black Wall Street dreams rising from the grave. Donnie Glover Show by BMOnews.com. Spotlight on the hustle where the real was calm. Every episode, dropping knowledge, dropping bombs. Donnie Glover Show by BMOnews.com.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Donnie Glover, publisher of BeMoreNews.com. Be More News is based in Baltimore. We started about 23 years ago. We had a 5-point agenda that we still maintain: Black business, public education, affordable housing, universal access to healthcare, and affordable housing. In the 23 years that we've run Be More News, we've covered news on the ground in Tanzania, Ethiopia, Jordan, Jamaica, Canada. We've covered news in several states, and we've covered, since we're so close to Washington, D.C., we've covered the White House about 60 times. We've sent people, and I've gone myself. So we've done our best to cover news and politics, particularly here in Baltimore and Northwest Baltimore County, which is majority heavily Black. Also, Prince George's County. Baltimore and Prince George's are the two largest Black jurisdictions here in the state of Maryland, and that tends to be our beat. We're all about empowerment. We're all about education. We're about voting. We're about voting for the right leaders. We're about holding those elected officials accountable, and we will vote for the other guy or girl. We have no problem with it. Over the past couple of weeks, we've been covering this Indigenous series. It is something near and dear to my heart, something that I've been drawn to since childhood. On my father's side, his grandmother was Blackfoot Indian. On my mother's side, her father was from Puerto Rico. So I've always known that there is more to who I am than just African American. In doing these shows, we've come across different sects of people with different beliefs, but we are trying to create a safe space here where we can discuss Indigenous history and what it means to the various individuals around the country. And no one has a monopoly. I am no expert. I am a journalist, and we're simply seeking the truth. One thing I did hear over the years from Harvard's Skip Gates, Henry Louis Gates, is that 2 to 3% of Black people have Indigenous roots. And I just find that to be it just doesn't add up with the many Black people that I've interviewed. We've done, even on this channel, over 7,000 interviews. I've talked to a lot of Black people who have indigenous roots. That part I do know from personal one-to-one, one-on-one interviews. I think it's a lot more than 2 to 3%. If it's at the other end, like 96%, I don't know. And that's one of the things we seek to find answers to. So without running my mouth too much, Auntie Alice, are you in here?
Yes, I think I am.
Good deal. I'm gonna bring my good dear friend in from New Orleans, Louisiana, Mr. Corey Bing Mathis. How you doing, Mr. Mathis?
I'm all right. What's going on, Danny?
Thank you for taking time out, man. Go ahead and put a plug in for your business while I bring in Doug from Oakland.
Two fat vegans right here in New Orleans in the French Quarters. Two fat vegans. If you're in New Orleans, if you want some good gumbo, hot sauces, po' boys, you know, mushroom etouffee, it's all vegan, 100% vegan. Two fat vegans in the French Quarters here. Yes, sir.
That's business. Now, Corey, since you left Baltimore, and Be More News to open up your restaurant chain, we got a new member to the family.
Okay.
Doug is out in Oakland. Introduce yourself, Doug.
My name is Doug Blackshear. I'm a political activist. I'm a community activist. I'm a Black activist. And most importantly, I'm a Black man in America.
Okay.
Now, on the phone, we have with us, and I need to put her name up. Just want to say hello, Original Black 5311. Good stuff. We need to have these conversations. Welcome to the conversation, Auntie Alice.
Hi, thanks so much.
Now, for those that don't know, Alice Toriente is the daughter of the late Senator Troy Braley. And I live in that very district right now. She is in a different legislative district now, but her father was very instrumental, gave me my first state senatorial scholarship. But more than that, he was, in retrospect, he was way ahead of his time. He was the kind of leader that we need today. But the question to Auntie Alice today is, do you have indigenous roots?
Yes, I do. My grandmother's grandfather was a Native American. His name was Mac. And she tells me about how when they were children, he would take them on picnics and those kinds of things. I'm just so sorry I didn't get into the deeper conversation with her before she passed. But I do know that her grandfather was a Native American.
Did you ever learn any more about it? Was it well talked about? Was it just that limited conversation? Mine was a limited conversation.
Mine was a very limited conversation. We had so much else going on, trying to find out roots and what have you, until it was just really one conversation about him being being my grandmother's grandfather.
Okay. Well, I know you have a lot of other things you could be doing. Any thoughts on Native American ancestry? For instance, before you go, let me just put this to you, to actually all of you. There's a gentleman. Let me put his picture up for those who are watching. Walter Plecker. This guy was a pistol. Do you know what he did, Auntie Alice?
No, I don't. What did he do?
He came up with this Racial Integrity Act. One such policy, which passed in Virginia in 1924. It was a new law which prohibited interracial marriage and ushered in a long period of discriminatory racial designation administered by the government. In other words, it's called paper genocide, where they say, you, Corey, you are Native American, you, Doug, you are African American. You, Auntie Alice, you are African American. They totally discount your native rights, and consequently, you don't get your inheritance.
Wow, that was before the Loving case.
Now, I don't know when Loving was. I'd have to look that up. But this Racial Integrity Act was in Virginia, and it disaffected tens of thousands of African Americans. This guy on the screen, Walter Plecker, he was a real mother for you.
Yeah, well, the Loving case was the case of the white man who married the black woman, and they had to go to court. They had to leave Virginia, but that was against the law for interracial marriages, and that came up. That was in Virginia as well. That's a very famous case, the Loving case. You may want to check that out.
Well, let me ask you this. Are you familiar with the one drop rule?
Yes, I am. One drop of blood, and well, you are considered African, considered black. Yes,
African American. And this is where this new generation, a very strong generation, Auntie Alice, with all due respect, I know you don't ask a lady her age, but how old are you?
87.
What if somebody told you at 87 years old that you are not African American, that you are Native American?
Tell them they have a problem. They don't know what they're talking about. See, the other thing is, was married to a Afro-Cuban, and so that's another whole story.
So
Hello.
well, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but you told me you have more than one ancestry.
Right.
Native American and African American.
Yes.
And that's okay.
Of course.
Some of us have even more. I posed this broader question, and let me stop. I had to respect these other gentlemen time. A broader question was, are we, now I gotta tell you, this new generation, they do not like the term African American. They want nothing to do with Africa. They see no ties whatsoever. I wasn't raised to feel that way. In 60 years of having an affinity for Africa, I don't know that stops tonight. But be that said, are we Moors? Are we Hebrews? Are we Hebrew Israelites? Are we Native American? Who are we?
We're African.
I mean, these people, this generation has a point. If they change so many of our classifications, and where so many more of us are actually Native American, then we've been stripped of land, money, birthright, etc. And they are angry. And they think we haven't fought. They think we have been losers.
Well,
Okay.
I tell you what I say, Don. The truth of the matter is, we are all of that. So, I mean, we all of that. We are some of all of that. So, I mean, each person got a different path. You could trace your line down somewhere, and I could trace mine. Mine might come to America. Yours might go to Africa. One side it might go African. One side, one parent may be American. Native American, or what, if you want. That's the term they're using. The truth of the matter is, we are all of that. So it's confusing because some people say, "Well, we the real Jews. We some of all of that, man. We don't have all of the proof, all of the evidence in, but I don't discount what people grandparents and stuff told them. Sometimes they know what they're talking about.
Well, one of the reasons I think that there's a problem is because a lot of the young people don't know the history. And that's one of the concerns that I have about what they're trying to do now is to wipe away the history that we do know. And so there are lots of young people who have not been taught their history. At my age, when I went to elementary school and junior high school, we were taught African American history. We had Black History Week, and then it became Black History Month. But we were taught, I went to, of course, segregated schools, and we were taught Black history.
Yeah,
So I
Auntie,
don't think,
we were taught that too. But the thing is, you get taught Black history from a white curriculum, really, and that the people they celebrate ain't always the people that we celebrate. They put
well,
forth different people. I find like a lot of they not only do the young people don't know the history, the older people don't know the history. We just don't. It's a bunch of mixed up stuff.
there are some, there are lots that don't. I had a tour company, Black History Tour Company. So my specialty was Black History and taking people around on Black History tours to the local, national, and international tours. So maybe I got a chance to see a little bit more in Africa and Brazil, places such as that, and then down south to the civil rights tours. So maybe because I had the opportunity to be exposed to a little bit more of that, my purview of this is maybe a little bit different than some other people's.
Yes, ma'am.
well, I would just like to say that I'm reading the screen here where the young lady says we don't know what the elder sister doesn't know what she's talking about and doesn't understand the terminology. It's been so watered down about Black people and understanding what the direction and the history of America is. Um, when a group of people don't know where they're from and don't know their history, they're lost. They're lost in the desert. And the young people now, they don't know the history. They don't know.
I gotta tell you, I'd slow down on that part. I got a pop quiz question for you that
No,
might
John asking a group of people, not all people. A group.
well, we don't want to make blanket statements, but I gotta
Okay.
tell you, slow down on the information because these cats are sharp. Here you go. Who has what continent? No. Where do you find more pyramids? In Africa or the Americas?
In Egypt,
in Sudan.
Are there
But
more
you have a
pyramids
lot
in
of
Africa?
pyramids on they, but see they call them mounds. So they got different terminology for them, but they all up and down the Mississippi River. You can see
In
that they
America.
all up and down the Mississippi River. But one thing that a lot of people don't want to acknowledge that it was a civilization before that we're not talking about that built these things that we have no clue about. You find those things they don't know nothing. We don't know about those people. When we go in, especially when we learn in Black history. We learning about recent people who lived within our lifetime and our grandmother's life and great grandmother's lifetime mostly. When we talking about where we from, that's a history that's even further back. You don't really have any people from that era that you talking about where we from. How many times you go and you say, okay, this is the people from the tribes that came from here, and this was such and such of this tribe and that tribe. You don't know none of that. You gotta do ancestry to find out what tribe you from. And when you find out what tribe you're from, you don't know none of those people. It's too
Well,
far back. So even though you know history, you don't know that history.
well, Corey, my uncle did a ancestry DNA test, and I do know that a huge part of our ancestry in my family is on my mother's side is from Nigeria,
Mm-hmm.
and so these are the types of things that keep us in the dark that we many of us can't afford or do not want to know where you trace that origin that DNA from. But because our DNA has been so diluted, because our women were raped, and we've had so many Black people interact, build families. We are almost a lost tribe in America. But on the whole, one of the things, and I'm going to bring his name up, uh, Ibrahim Traore, president of Burkina Faso. One of the things I love about what he's doing is he's bringing it back home. We have to first start protecting our own people back home. Second, which should be with first, protecting our own assets. Africa is the most valuable country in the world with gold, oil, and other precious minerals. But because the white man has raped our land and taken our asset, we're lost, and we have to. And I'm going to be going back to Burkina Faso next year because I really want to take a look at what this brother's doing. He's bringing it home. We have to start protecting our own people, just like the Chinese do, just the Asian people do, just like the Hispanic people do, just like the Indian people do. And that's what Black people need to do.
Corey, what does the Black Indian mean to New Orleans?
It's a whole culture. Black Indians is it's a big thing, man. And it's been going on in New Orleans for a long time. Now, there are different tribes and stuff here in New Orleans, but these tribes, most of these tribes, if you do the actual history on it, they are not gonna lead you to those actual Indian tribes like that. They made it's like a remembrance thing that they made up their own tribes. You know what I mean? And they pay homage to the times of when blacks and Indians interacted, or when the blacks were the Indians. But it's not like, okay, a real, you can't pinpoint that what they're saying in a history book as well. If you trace it down, uh, you know, they'll say like, okay, these are things that they were doing to celebrate the relationship they had with the Indians. Some people say, and then some people say it's because they were those Indians. You know what I mean? So it's a mix. It's a mixture of that. It's a mixture, and and just like everything else that have to do with blacks in America, you never really get to the real bottom of it. You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
was it was this real serious trick. That's why I always try to tell you, like, when people say that, I do believe that we are all of those things. We are all of those different tribes, all of those different places. You know what I mean? All those different people. And then I always ask one the question, okay, how long does it take before you're considered a new tribe? Because every tribe broke off from somewhere else, right? They always, when these people went around, they branched off and they moved their family out to this other place and they became a new tribe. What's the process of becoming a new tribe, right? Because it all spawned from one. So when I look at us as African Americans, I look at us as a new tribe, actually, more than, we can find that history, and that history. If you go back to Nigeria, all right, was Nigeria the beginning of that tribe? But that tribe came from another tribe, and most of it come from down South Africa before they moved up into West Africa, right? But at some point they became their own people. You know what I mean? And you know, and when you become your own people, when they become their own people, they always still pay homage to the ancestors, but they don't. You don't have any recollection of the people that you once were. You know what I'm saying? So I don't. I hate to say it, but I think we we want to know so bad that we put too much emphasis on it. If you ask me, we are a new tribe, man. Like it or not, and this new tribe is formulated of a mixture of all type of things, all type of tribes, all type of different black folks. If some of them may have been in America, some of them may have been Moors, some of them may have been Muslims from a different. But we are a new tribe. So we gotta start treating each other as such, as one new tribe, if you ask me. You know what I mean? But if you can trace your line down and trace your history and bring that to the table, that's a good thing. And if I can trace mine and I bring that to the table, that's a good thing. But it's not gonna all come from the same place. You know what I'm saying? But even if we live and look and check this out, the people the people who grew up in the same place with my grandmother, right? And my great grandmother all come from the same place. They grew up in that place, and now we talking all these generations down the line, right? They all grew up with my grandmother, and they went there, and all these different generations. And guess what? Those original folks, they was from two different places, but they all one tribe now. So
That's an interesting point. I was just looking at C-SPAN this evening. There was a lady named Tara Roberts on, who was an author, but she's also a deep sea diver. And she was among those people that found that the last ship, this African ship that's been found, the flotilla, and how those people went to, um, oh God have mercy, went to Mobile, Alabama, and founded Africa Town. And there were all of those people that survived lived in Africa Town and built buildings and homes, etc. And that was a real interesting story. There were 32 of them who originally lived there, and they saved up the money, bought the land, and developed Africa Town in Mobile, Alabama. And that is still a place now where the descendants of those people who came over on the flotilla still live. So that was an example of some folks who came from Africa and built a community, and the ancestor the people who live there are ancestors of the folks who came over on the flotilla. So that was very interesting information she was relating just this evening. She was talking about that.
So, Auntie Alice, in your time, in your visits to New Orleans, now, Corey, let me tell you, this woman has been all over the world. In your travels to New Orleans, did you find that the ancestors were speaking to you?
Well, what again?
Were speaking to you?
Not really. Not. I was down in New Orleans on an educational conference, so that was what I was down there for. That's what I was dealing with.
Have
I've
you ever
been to
traveled
African
to any?
Town before too. I ain't mean to interrupt you, but I've been
I'm
to
sorry.
African Town in Mobile. Mobile and New Orleans have a close relationship. You know, Mobile is where my first wife. That's where Nikki family is from. Mobile. All my kids, they grandparents and great grandparents. One side of them, they all from Mobile. A lot of family members out there.
Mobile is where the Mardi Gras started. A lot of people
Yeah,
don't realize that. But
that
the
was the
Mardi
first
Gras
Mardi
was
Gras.
initially started in Mobile.
Mm-hmm. That's absolutely right.
So, Doug, tell me about your Native American ancestry.
My great grandmother, my dad's grandmother, she was 100% Cherokee, and my dad's grandfather married her. And I sent you a couple of pictures earlier of my dad. Um, the irony of that is, when I was growing up, me and my dad would go places, and my dad is 6'5", 250 pounds, curly hair, and very, very light skinned. And a lot of people didn't know that was my father until I would say, "Hey, this is my dad," and they would look at us like, "Wow." And that goes back to the dilution of the Black American in this world, in this country. The history, because our bloodline has been so diluted, whether it be marriage or the rape of our women, it is hard to ascertain what we who we are and what we are. And that's where the white man is, what he's doing right now, trying to divide and conquer, because many of us don't know who we are.
Hey, I got a question, something I always wondered about this, right? You see how you say your family went back to Nigeria, right? Out of West Africa, right? And then when you hear uh, people, historians speak about things inside of Mexico and these pyramids and all that, and they saying these people came from West Africa. So when you trace that bloodline back and it goes to West Africa, is it coming from them or is it actually going back to Africa? You know what I mean? Is it the West Africans that came before Columbus? Or is it the Africans that came on the slave trade? And how do you tell the difference?
Well, there were a number of slaves that escaped and went to into Indian territory,
Yes, ma'am.
and many of them intermarried or intermingled and what have you. So there were a number of slaves who were, went into Indian territory. I don't know if you saw anybody see Daughters of the Dust, the movie. That was one of the early
Yeah.
black movies. I
Yes.
beg your pardon.
Yes. What's the young lady's
Okay,
name?
yeah, the young lady that was produced it exactly was a big hoorah
Hold up.
about that because
You always go in New York. You're not in New York. Hold up. Daughters of the Dust.
right.
Livia Blackburn? That's not
That
that.
was that was a movie about Africa, about the Gullahs, if I remember correctly. That was a long time ago.
No, I
And
remember that film. We studied that film. I remember
okay,
them walking into the water. They were down there in the Gullah Islands, weren't they?
exactly. But if you remember, one of the daughters in that particular picture rode off with a Native American and disappeared. But prior to that, though, there's been documentation that there were African Americans who went to live with the Native Americans, and so again, there were people who were well, we would say perhaps African Americans that were mixed with the Native Americans.
Yeah, but
Right.
I'm just trying to get you to understand that there's a growing number of people who have the mindset that we never came here in the bottom of no slave ship,
Oh
that
my!
we were already here. And I have to say, I have a lot of confidence in that theory.
Well, there's a lot of evidence of that. When you see those old seals from Florida, and those old paintings from Florida, even when you hear Columbus describing the people in his diaries, he described black people. So that's what I'm saying. And then you always hear people say, "Oh, Massa Musa brother sailed with all these ships over to the Americans and never came back. He came this way and never came back." And they try to give him credit for some of the things some of the
True.
structures you see, right? So that's what I'm saying. It still started in Africa. So that's what I'm saying. When you say, okay, I got some West African heritage, is it from the slave trade or is it from those who came before Columbus?
Doug,
Because
who
they
is this
coming
man
from
on
the
our
same
screen?
area.
Okay, Doug,
Well,
who is this man on our screen here?
first off, I love you for showing my father. He passed away about 11 years ago. This is the man who taught me that you look down to no white man. This is a man who taught me how to be a man. My father has always been in my life. Before he passed away, we worked together as we started a construction company. We worked with young people in the neighborhood who were getting returning residents, getting them jobs. And I've recently seen a couple of them who worked for the city of Oakland who came up and hugged me, said, "Man, because of your dad, you guys helped me to be a good man, a good worker, now I have a good job with the city of Oakland and other Caltrans and other different organizations. So thank you for putting him up. I'm going to take a picture and I'm going to share it on my screen on my social page, because this man who you see right here, Donnie, he said very few words. And the sister who has come up said, finding myself. I see she's part Cherokee. My dad was a quarter Cherokee because his grandmother was Cherokee. But this was one of the greatest men in history. He told me, why fight for people who have stuff? Help people who don't have stuff. Because at the end of the day, we have to help people. And many of these Negroes who are making it now, they have forgotten that. That's one reason why basketball players, football players, baseball players, when they make it, they pack up and they leave and go to white neighborhoods because they're embarrassed or they don't want to give back to the community. And at the end of the day, that's one reason why our communities, our Black communities, are suffering right now. We make it and we take our money and we run to the white man.
Well, you know one thing, when we make it, our Black community prey on us. If you make it and you stay in that neighborhood, you be like Nipsey Hussle. He stayed, he tried to help the community killed him. We got a bad problem with killing our own, especially if you think they got something that you ain't got. So today, till people come together and fix that issue, you really can't blame them from getting out. Now you get out, you make all this money, right? And you know what versus you had going to school and living in those neighborhoods, and you finally make enough to get out of there and save your family. Them people gonna save their family. I can't knock over that.
Well, Corey, you know, I have to challenge that theory. I've been injured for the last 2 years, work-related injury, and have been walking around. My mother's been helping me out because of some.
Come on, Doug. We talking about Native Americans now. Stay focused.
Well, I just want to challenge him in the fact that when you move back to the community, yeah, you are subject to be challenged. But these young brothers and sisters, they think that we're afraid of them. And until we stop being afraid of our people who look like you and me, our community is going to stay at the bottom of the totem pole.
Well, as an adult, I can move back because I'm not afraid. But do I want to put my kids in that situation?
Well, I agree.
Because you as a grown up, and you as a grown man, you done been through enough and know how to deal with them, and you from there and all of that, right? But do you want to sacrifice your kids? Put your kids in that situation. That's the challenge. And guess what? And it's us that's doing that. We make our neighborhoods and we glorify the criminal behavior. We glorify the criminal, and we create these areas where if you live there, it's gonna be some violence. Now, when you have an opportunity, when you grow up around violence and you get an opportunity, you say, I'm not gonna let my kids grow up through this. I want to protect them for this. Because when you make it, it ain't because you was protected. You made it in spite of everybody else. Think about how many close friends that didn't make it. So you can't blame Black people from choosing safety for their family. You get that money in it. You get that money. We got a bad problem, bro. You get that money in our community and you become a target. And that's the reality of it. It's hard to come back and help when you become a target like that. And even like I said, as a grown man, you can handle it. But do you want that target on your kids' back? That's tough. You know?
Go ahead, Ani.
I was going to say that's the difference between now and then when I grew up. Back in those days, a lot of the teachers, the lawyers, the doctors, etc., lived in the same neighborhood. And
Right.
so they didn't start moving out until they go around the corner. Your principal lived down the street. The teacher lived up the street. The doctor might live 3 or 4 blocks away. And the people were all in the same neighborhood. And of course, that was a long time ago because there
Right.
were what do you call them? There were laws that said you couldn't live in certain neighborhoods. So the blacks were still in certain neighborhoods until those laws were lifted. Like Forest Park, black folks in Baltimore couldn't live in Forest Park until those laws were lifted. There's a book that was written called "Not in My Neighborhood," and it tells you all about the laws that were passed here in Baltimore to keep people from living in certain neighborhoods. I know the house that my mother and father bought was a Jewish neighborhood. We had a park up the street from where we lived. My parents moved to that house in the 40s. When we moved there, the Jewish guys did not want the black guys to come and play in the park. There were fights and what have you until the Jewish guys moved away and the black folks took over. So there were laws that made certain neighborhoods the way that they were. And of course, our federal government, who gave GI benefits to the white folks first, allowed them to move out to the other areas, etc. And so our federal government also participated in segregation because the blacks couldn't get the money to move into some of those neighborhoods. They could get the loans, but they couldn't move into those neighborhoods that were designated for white folks. So that was a whole nother ball game back in those days than it is now.
Right. And look, but my whole thing about living with the white folk, living around white, all that's cool. I'm saying why we turn our neighborhood. They not coming in our neighborhoods and turning them like that. It was a time when everybody was poor and it was still safe.
Right.
We make our neighborhoods unsafe. We can't put that on nobody else. Now you can say, well, the drugs, they brought the drugs and been
Who bought?
at
Wait,
some
wait, wait,
point
wait, wait, wait,
people
wait, wait,
die.
wait, 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 wait. Not a black person I know owned a boat or a plane to bring drugs here.
I understand that. I understand that they brought it here, but I could bring a lot of stuff right here. That don't mean you got to touch it.
You right. You're
I blame
absolutely
them
right.
from bringing it in, but I blame us from touching it,
All
right?
right.
And so when they come, they're gonna drop over a whole bunch of guns right now. You gonna pick them up and start shooting people?
Well, it
No.
looks like that's what they're doing.
Well, that's what they do, right? So, but what I'm saying is, at some point, we got to become better and more responsible in
Oh, I concur with you
how we treat
wholeheartedly.
each other and how we move. We don't move like family no more. So
I concur with you.
yeah, we gotta start moving back like family. That's the only way things are. Until then, you can't really blame people from leaving from around that foolishness.
Corey,
Well,
this cat on here says something about most abos and as aboriginals, pretendians, FBA are from the South. I don't like blanket statements. I don't like generalizations like that because this cat throws in where education is the lowest in the country. How do you take to something like that, Corey?
Man, listen, with being a lot of them are from the South, because a lot of the southern states, a lot of these southern places, they and their grandmothers and all them all speak about being Indian or somebody in the family being Indian, and they talk and pass those stories on, right? So they do the research and they do it. But what is it? The Shittercocks, the ones in New York, they said that was a black tribe, right? So
Okay.
it's more than just the South, but a lot of people down South still talk that Indian talk. And and you gotta understand, you still living in a lot of these places was still country, rural areas where they people still have memories of actually living off the land. So when you go at somewhere where you live off the land, you gotta explain how you learned that. And a lot of times when they go into the stories of how they learned that, they'll say, "Oh, my mama was this, and they're Indian and black. That's how we used to do this. We picked the strawberries, we grew the watermelon, we did this and that." All this stuff tied back in. If you from up north where it's mostly city, you ain't talking like that, cause you
Well,
ain't
well,
growing nothing. You
well,
ain't
well, well,
growing nothing that tie you back to an indigenous culture.
Well, I want to say this. When I come to New Orleans, I feel the ancestors talking to me. I feel them very much talk. I feel them screaming.
Hey, I tell you what was funny, Donnie. You know the street. I didn't even know that until you left. I see that sign I sent you. The streets we was walking up and down in that area was the actual grounds where the guy from 12 Years a Slave was actually sold and brought and enslaved at. We walking in the
Congo
same
Square.
area where he was.
You talking about Congo Square?
Nah, it wasn't in Congo Square. It was down here on Esplanade, right here where I'm at right now. They had
Mm.
one of the big things is right here on Esplanade, right behind me right now. Right where
well,
I'm
Corey, let me say this. I respect what you're saying, young brother. But let me just tell you, my 62 years of experience in this country, chasing money for 40 plus years, probably 50. One of the reasons why I do so much community work and political work, and I interlock them together, because if in order to improve our community, we got to have political power, and we don't have any right now.
Absolutely, absolutely.
If we had political power, our communities wouldn't look that bad. Hundreds of millions of dollars flow through communities, cities, counties, states, and through this country. And do you know how many of them dollars flow through our communities, our Black community? Less than 5%, less than 5%, or actually less than 2%. That's why in our communities they look bad, because the politicians, no matter how much money they have, if they don't have your vote, and our people don't vote. Our people don't vote. Our people don't vote.
I got a question for you. The representatives of your neighborhood, the representatives of the neighborhoods and the surrounding areas that you talking about, are they black? Are the
Say that again.
representatives of that area black? Are they from
Wait.
that neighborhood?
Are the representatives?
Yes, the political representation of the areas that you speaking on, are they black, and are they from they from that neighborhood?
Not too many. Very few. Very few.
Because I know in our neighborhood, in most of the black neighborhoods around us, our representatives, they black as me. They from this neighborhood. If they not from my neighborhood, they from an adjacent neighborhood.
Well,
We
they
ain't got
gotta
no.
represent.
When we look at our areas, when we look at our council, our school boards, our representatives, they look just like us.
Well, not in my neighborhood, man.
So in your neighborhood is represented by mostly all the representation of y'all neighborhoods is white.
There's a
Well,
lot
what
of
we
white.
having out. See, now you're talking about politics. That's
Yeah,
that.
I'm
That's
just saying. We saying that it's because of the political thing, right? I'm saying we got a lot of them folks. We put them suckers in them seats all the time. Every
So
time
look,
it's time to vote, when they pass them
Well,
pamphlets out, all them people on them pamphlets look just like us. And one
well,
of
the
them
reason why.
win.
Well, the reason why. Let me be clear, Corey. The reason why because we don't take the time when our kids are young to teach them how politics in this country directly affects our neighborhood, our community, and our city and our county. We don't take the time, and I say we because now it's me. I'm an OG. They call me OG now. When I walk around this community in Oakland and deep East Oakland, I'm talking about where you can't be out here after dark. I talk to them about the demographics. I talk to them about if there's a big map. There's a big map that politicians have. In the white neighborhood, you got 75 to 90% voting rate. In the black neighborhoods, you got 15 to 30%. So when a politician, whether he be incumbent or whether he be a new politician, do you think that politician is going to come and do anything in our neighborhood because he says, "Well, I'm not going to get any votes down there"? We got to start teaching these young people how political power starts, and they put it right up here. Political power starts with economics, but also political power, economics is determined by political power. We got to get the money back in our community, and we got to start teaching these young people how important it is to know who your city council person is, to know who your mayor is, to know who your Alameda County or county supervisors are, to know who your congressperson is, to know who your assembly people are. These young people don't have a clue.
Well, listen, your
Teaching them.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go
Your
ahead, Auntie.
your area in Oakland is being gentrified as we speak. I know
That is true.
somebody who just sold the house on Oak Knoll Boulevard in Oakland.
That's right
And
up
the
the
what
street.
and that's right. And the white folks are trying to move, but I've been out to Oakland, out there to Oak Boulevard. It's out there the wedding. But anyway, the white folks now are trying to get into Oakland, and the houses are selling for big money. Because I know
Mhm.
somebody who just sold the house out there on Oak Knoll Boulevard. But getting back to what you were saying about the young people, one of the other things is they've taken civics out of school. My background is education. I'm a former school principal. They've taken the civics out of the schools. And so the thing is, it's our responsibility to be on top of not only the school curriculum, but also on top of the politicians. Because we got to hold them accountable. We talk about how much money is in the black community, but how much money is there, but how much of it is turned around in the black community after it is spent. I have run campaigns. I've gotten people elected. I've consulted with other people on the campaigns and what have you, so I know what I'm talking about. I've gotten just on the phone today with Councilman Handy. I got him elected twice to the city council. I got Verna Jones re-elected to the Senate here in Maryland. And I've worked on worked with Westmore, the governor. I worked with, who else? Lord, so many other people. Donna can tell you. So I'm very much involved in politics here in the city of Baltimore. I was involved I lived in New York for quite a long time. That was where I had my professional career in New York. And so I was very much involved. I was a delegate to the Democratic Convention for Jesse Jackson in 1984 out of San Francisco. And I've been going to Democratic conventions ever since that time. And so the thing is, there's a lot that we have to do. Yes, we have black people elected, but we got to stay up there behind to make sure they do what they're supposed to do. Because many of them, as soon as they get elected, they move out the neighborhood that they're supposed to represent. And they're not open to us. So sometimes you got to be a natural pain in the backside, but they've got to be made to do what they want to do. Now, I just saw your guy, Cleo Moore. Was it Cleo from New Orleans?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, I just saw Cleo because I've been watching on C-SPAN. They've been doing the town halls.
with the Cleo Field.
Yeah, that's right, Cleo Fields. I went to training through the Democratic Party, but a while ago when they screwed over Cleo. Cleo got screwed over a long time ago. What happened was, what's the name? What's the name of that family? That's been in office for a long time out. There was a woman and the brother and the father. Anyway, when I went to that training for the Democratic Party about maybe 20 years ago or more than 20 years ago, because I've been back here 30 years. It was about more than 30 years
Talking about
ago.
Miss Landry now.
All right, Cleo was a young man then, and they screwed over. There was a bunch of people at that training who were from New Orleans, and they were pissed because Cleo had gotten screwed over by these folks. Lord, I wish I could
Mr.
think of that
Landry,
name.
Miss Landry now. Miss Landry was
Landro, that's right, Landro.
yeah, Landry.
Landro's
He was
sister.
the mayor. The sister was in politics. The
That's
daddy
right.
was in
That's
politics.
right. Right.
Miss
Well,
Landry.
Landro's sister them screwed over Cleo. And everybody was out there. The folks that were at the training were pissed because Cleo had gotten screwed over. but I lost contact with him until I saw him doing his town hall meeting. I've been watching those town hall meetings on C-SPAN, and Cleo did a town hall meeting. In fact, it was on again tonight, his town hall meeting that he had. So I see that he got elected. But that was some years, more than 30 years ago. He was real young at the time. And
I know
all
he
those guys
started
that had
out.
all
Well,
of those that had come to the training were pissed because the Landro girl had screwed over Cleo. I can't remember the whole story, but I know I remember that because the guys really had their jaws locked. The ones who had come from New Orleans, Cleo wasn't there, but the ones who had come to that training were pissed because of how they screwed over Cleo.
auntie, auntie, let me just say this to everybody on this train, Corey and Donnie. We know the problem. The problem is self-evident. What the solution is. Now, let me tell you what my solution is and how I'm going to engage. And I hope you guys have a chance. A week from tomorrow, I have 10, and the numbers are getting bigger every day. I got 10 plus young black men that I have invited to come to a city council meeting in Oakland, California. And they said, man, we can go to them. I said, oh, yeah. When white people have problems in their community, they go down to city council and raise hell. When black people have problems in their community, they go watch a game. They're gonna go see a concert. They're gonna watch the BET Award. We have got to start showing up at these city council meetings and making ourselves known, letting these city council people know that we are engaged politically. We have to teach the young. We have to draw these young people. First off, teach them about politics from where they are. In my neighborhood, they're on 90th and MacArthur in Oakland, California. I talked to them about if I can get 10 plus young black men to go to city council, and when it comes my time to speak, and I said I'm going to put each and every one of your name up there, and I said what I want you to tell them is that my name is Mike Smith, and I support Doug Blackshear in his endeavor to start firing you people. And the way you fire politicians, you vote them out of office. But we got to start teaching these young people. We got to get a new block of vote. The same people vote for the same people. Until we start teaching these young people, power is in the vote. Mexicans do it. Asian people do it. Indian people do it. Now, black people got to do it. And the way we do it, we go down to the corner liquor store. We go down to where
are you, Doug? Are you at a concert?
No.
Who's at the concert? We got the big booming sound in the background. Is that you, Corey?
There was a truck just drove by. Maybe you heard that.
Let me just find out, because one of you.
Well, aside from what you're
I do hear some music or something, but that ain't me.
not me either, but aside from what you're saying is here in Maryland, students can get, they have to get service credits in order to graduate. So what I have been doing is talking to the candidates to get some high school students to volunteer in the campaign so they learn from the ground up. Once they get involved in the campaigns, they can see what's going on, and they can also get service credits through their high schools. And so these are the ways that you can get them actually involved, not just going to the meeting, but seeing what it takes to be an elected official. And that might encourage some of them to want to be able to do some of the same kinds of things or to be advocates for their own issues.
I got to push back on you, Arnie. I got to ask you.
What?
You are 84, and you...
Right, 87.
87. A. Philip Randolph has been to your house.
Yes.
Civil rights leaders have been to your house to see your father.
Yes.
When you hear younger people saying that they don't have any faith in politics, don't they have a point when you consider that in one shucks, in just a few months, in less than a year, this one president has undone so many things that our ancestors fought for. Do they have a point?
Well, listen, when you look, all right, I was chairwoman for the Baltimore City Women for Obama. And when you look at the stuff that Obama was able to bring to the fore, it's because we got a jackass that's the president who is trying to screw everybody. So you got to make them aware of what is in the future for them. And if they don't come out and do better, they're going to be screwed totally. They're looking at now increasing the age for retiring in order to get Social Security. Okay, those are some of the things, and the 40 quarters that they're going to need to get Social Security. So you're going to have to do a little proselytizing and talking to some of them to make them aware of how this is going to affect them. I have a nephew that's head as hard as a brick. I keep telling him he's got these different jobs. I keep telling him you got to get 40 quarters. He's working for folks that are not giving him, they're not paying Social Security for him. So he'll be working till he's 900 in order to get Social Security. So these are the kinds of things you have to make them aware of and how it's going to affect them in the future. So they've got to get off their rusty dusters and get out there and get involved.
Good deal.
Auntie,
Yes.
uh, I don't know how we got off of the indigenous Indian, but
Well,
I
it's
totally agree.
important. I'll tell you how. If we don't use our political voice, if we don't realize that everything is political, everything, that the work that Arnie's generation did is important, that we got to stay in their face, that the elections are more than just about somebody getting out there so they can be on every damn Instagram picture, that it's about serving your community. Until we get to that point, yeah, I think we miss out on a lot.
Yeah, everybody ain't on no one agenda, so yeah, everybody got a separate agenda, man.
When the
Well,
police pull you over, like I say, Arnie, when the police pull you over, they not asking what tribe you from. They are
No,
just snatching everybody in the car. So we better tighten up on our backstroke. That's
that,
my
that's
thought.
something, that's something my grandma used to tell you all the time when people say they not black. She said, "Yeah, tell that to the police." He
well,
always
well,
said that was her
well,
bad thing. So yeah, you ain't black, you tell that to the police.
well. Also, too, when we get these black politicians elected, all skin folk ain't kin folk.
Yeah. Yeah, they so crafty with it, brother. You get them in there, they
I
all
want to
with you till they in there. So they all play the same game. They with you till they in there.
I want to
You
say
know what
this
I mean? So
to
it's
this sister, finding my true self. Um, I understand you're tired of seeing no changes, but don't give up just yet. Even if you got to take a break, stay involved. Find out who your city council person is. Get their cell number. Your delegates, your state senator, get their cell number. Your mayor, your county executive, get their cell number. Call them and engage with them. You go out and get things for your community. You make it happen. You tell them to come to your community. You tell them to come to your community meeting. You tell them, sis. Don't let them slide that easily. They get paid to answer your phone call.
I tell you what, one thing about owning the business, they come over here. Look, I got you. This guy, he's a good guy though. He represented me in both of my locations, Elgis and the French Quarters. I got another guy. This is the guy who I think is going to be the new mayor. Him and his family came through and sat down and talked, and seemed like a pretty good guy. You know, meeting him right off the bat, but
Now, Corey, I know personally you are not green to elections. We've covered several politicians.
not at all, not green at all. Hey, I that time the time we spent messing with these elections and meeting these people, it seemed like the more people into it that we met, even West. Remember we ran with Westmore and all that. But
And we talking about 06,
oh yeah, this was
20
long
years
ago.
ago.
Yeah, we won a national award for that. But
Well,
it's you know what the thing that discourages most of the young folks, bro? We hear the same thing over and over and over and over again, and nothing ain't changed, nothing ain't happened. I mean, and
well,
then we hear people that's our parents' age talking the same stuff. Nothing happened, nothing real, no real substantial change.
well, Corey,
So
let me say this, Corey. Let me say this. I have last night I went to, and I'm gonna give a shout out. It's a new barbecue place in Oakland. They've been around for the last 5-6 years. Called
Is it good? Don't be promoting
Man,
no slouch barbecues yet.
man, let me tell you something. They got some barbecue places in Oakland that sell frozen barbecue that they had in the freezer from last Labor Day. This place, y'all know what I'm talking about. This place is called Horns Barbecue, and I've been so impressed with the owner. The manager's name is Frank. The owner's name is Matt Horn, and you get a chance, Google it. Consistently for the last 2-3 years, the ribs are so juicy, make you want to slap your mama. But the point I'm making here is, I talked to him yesterday, and he and we got to talking, and he has as a black filmmaker, because I was telling him about the BlackUSA.news, how we're promoting it. There's a filmmaker, and I'm not going to bring his name up until I meet him, but he wants me to come down and meet this filmmaker. And at the end of the day, let me just tell you this, Donnie. This brother has created some films that have generated hundreds of millions of dollars. But after I started talking to him about politics, I said, man, Google me. And he said, oh, man, you deep. I said, yeah, I'm deep. I said, because we need to be deep. So there's a black filmmaker here in Oakland that comes to his.
What's the name, Doug? Tell a story, bud.
I want to hold off until I meet him, Donnie, and I'll be back.
Oh,
but
man, come on, man. We need facts. You gonna make
okay? The facts is the producer.
Oh, hold up. I gotta cut you off. You're taking too long. EA, you got EA in the house. Emerson Village. EA. Okay, there you go. You got the floor back.
The producer, he produced Fruitvale and some other movies here in Oakland. Where
I'm watching a series right now about Oakland. Right now, it's about Huey Newton, and Don Cheadle is the producer, called Big Cigar. You saw that? I'm watching it right now.
I will be checking it out.
Huh?
I will be checking it out. What's the name again?
Big Cigar. It's about Huey Newton and the Black Panther Party. It's a series, and it's taking place in Oakland. They showing how the guys from the movie industry was involved in this thing with him and all this kind of stuff. The government involvement. Big Cigar.
Okay, well, let's go around the horn and do some commercials so we can let you get out of here. Auntie Alice, go ahead and tell them who you are and how people can stay in touch with you. I guess she's gone for the day. Okay. Doug, go ahead and put a plug in for yourself, brother.
Name is Art Douglas Blackshear. My friends call me Doug Blackshear. Visit my social media at Art Blackshear on LinkedIn, Art Blackshear on Facebook and Instagram. At the end of the day, Donnie, I'm very appreciative that you holding my spot down, because I will be back. The great work that you are doing nationally.
No. We come on, Doug. It's a we thing. Let me tell you this. This reason it's good for you to meet Corey. Way back in 06, Corey made sure. Matter of fact, Corey got the first footage of Obama. Now, let me just say, I know Obama wasn't perfect. We don't like that he killed Gaddafi.
You already know where I'm going with it.
We don't like what he tried to take over there to Africa, because they told him put it back in that rainbow colored bag and get back on the plane and take it back across the Atlantic, which we don't want that here. But the man did give us and a lot of other black news outlets access to the White House like never before. But Corey captured Obama when he came to Baltimore in 08. And that was huge for us. Very huge.
Yeah, man.
So Doug's, since we started streaming in 2020, Corey, he's been hitting home runs out in Oakland. I mean, his shows he was clocking home runs early on, man, in the hundreds.
Okay.
Oh yeah. And he's a big political activist. He supported Barbara Lee, the former congresswoman who is now mayor of Oakland. He supported, and I want to mess her name up, Ramjani.
Janani Ramachandran.
Yeah, her and her pretty self. And you brought the former mayor. Oh, she pretty. Yeah, she pretty. You brought the former mayor on. Who's the former mayor, your mentor?
Elihu Harris. That's my mentor. That's my guru.
All right. Now, Corey, go ahead and put a plug in for yourself. And much love. Listen, Mathis, Shakur, Vera Sanders, Brenda Bennett, Derek, Only One Captain America, Finding My True Self. Thank you all. And to the elders, Engine Radio, that's a tough person. Charles Music. Thank you all. We're only trying to, bring some attention, bring a family discussion atmosphere to this whole topic of indigenous, because to me it's very important. And Mafia Shakur, I appreciate you.
Hey, Donnie, before you go, my number one thing is vote. Let people know that we vote.
My number one thing is support black business.
That's vote.
I'm going to take the support black business over the vote. If I had to choose, support black business.
We spend $1.5 trillion every year.
That number's up. You got to go up some, shorty.
Well, I'm going to hold that number until I get more statistics. But
it's at least 1.6, 1.7.
Okay,
and that's equal to one of the top 10 economies on the planet. And that keeps us
money in the black businesses.
We own this man up. Corey, do your commercial. Doug, hold tight. You
already know. If y'all ever down in New Orleans, come check me out at Two Fat Vegans, 1303 Decatur Street. I mean, we got some originals that's the best on the planet.
Tell them about that gumbo, man. Tell them about that gumbo. Can you put me some in the mail, brother? I need you to mail order me some of that gumbo, the vegan gumbo. Corey, tell him I didn't even know it wasn't meat in there.
Oh my God! Oh
my God! Got the okra in it. Oh man, he got me some fried okra. I damn near fell out my chair, bro.
Oh my God! Look at that.
Yeah, man.
That's what I'm talking about. That right there.
Let me tell you something. Like you was just saying, is Labor Day, and your people got them ribs. I got them ribs. Them vegan ribs, I just brought them out for Labor Day. Fat slab sandwich, buddy. It ain't no joke either. Look, people eat it, they get it, they say, man.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. Oh, my God. Sir.
Hey, Corey, we almost forgot. Corey, we almost forgot, man. This is the 20th year, bruh.
20th year?
Isn't it? Right now.
Oh, man.
20 years.
Yeah, that was 06. That was 06, so we coming up.
It's next year.
I can't believe that was 20 years ago.
Well, I thought I was supposed
to. Yeah, that was 06. So
that wasn't this. It's not this week. I thought there was some type of commemoration this week.
For Katrina, yeah, that was this weekend.
Yeah,
that just passed this weekend. Yeah, man, it was.
That's
nice.
Been all over TV.
I went to. I'm gonna tell you something. I went to a play, right? It was about Katrina, I don't want to say the name of it because I don't want. But it was nicely done, musical, everything. But did you know it had not one man in the whole thing? It was monologues about people in Katrina. Not one man. I'm lying. It was one man, but he was dressed in. It was he was on the other side. He was a drag queen or whatever. Tranny or whatever it is, whatever term they use now, whatever it is. But that was the only man in the whole play, bro. As nice as that thing was, I was disappointed in that because I know so many men saved their families that day. To do a play like that and not have one representation of a man looking out, and let me tell you something. A lot of black men stepped up that day, boy. They stepped up, man. They got their people out of harm's way. You know that. We brought one on the
Spike
show.
Spike Lee has done a thing on Netflix, and Tremaine Lee has done something on Peacock. Both of them have done something on 20-year anniversary of Katrina.
Hmm. Yeah, it was nice. They had a big thing. They had a second line that went to the ninth ward and ended in the park and all of this stuff. It was pretty nice. It was different functions all throughout the city the whole day. I was busy. This for the gumbo for the lady. Hey,
And let me
God,
tell you,
smoke this
Arnie,
right here.
when I went to New Orleans, the man treated me like I was the king of Wakanda.
The king of Wakanda.
Yeah.
Where at? Say that part again.
When I came to New Orleans, y'all
Mhm.
treated me like the king
Oh
of.
yeah. Now you already know you down south, man. It's gonna be some hospitality. That's how we go.
How we go. I
That's how we
appreciate you
go,
all,
man.
and thank you again for taking time out your busy schedules to join us. Good evening, good evening, world.
Good night,
Nice.
everybody.
Good night, Auntie Alice. Thank you, Doug.